Oh, what's up, good people? This is
Yeah, yeah,
MC
yeah.
Till with everybody's hip hop label. Welcome to the Boom Bap Chat. If you are watching this right now, you know we have some legends in the building tonight. Super excited about this conversation. As always, if you're in Cincinnati, make sure you head on over to Everybody's Records. They got vinyl, tape, CDs. They got all kinds of great stuff over there. You can check them out online at everybody'srecords.com. You can also get some dope material at getondown.com. They got some great vinyl, some tapes, and anniversary deluxe editions, all of that. And if you don't have it, make sure you head on over to Boom Bap Review and get our book, the Boom Bap Review. Got volume 1 and volume 2, and volume 3 is coming out very, very soon. So you can pre-order it at boombapreview.com. With that aside, I want to welcome or let you all know the co-hosts in the room. As always, we have Profound with us. What's up, Profound?
What's good, MC Till? How you be, brother? I know I've been out, man, mission in action, coaching this young football and all of that.
It's all good, man. How's your son doing on the field, man?
Incredible. 10
Yeah,
year old quarterback, incredible. Yeah. He's
yeah.
out there right now. I told him I couldn't make it, and he looked at me like I was crazy, but
Oh
it's all
man.
good. I told him, hip hop pays the bills, son. We got to do what we got to do.
There you go. There you go. Well, shout out to him. We also have Iomas Marad. Iomas, how are you, man?
I'm good, Till. What's going on? What's up? What's up, Pro? What up, Till?
What-
Oh
What's good,
man.
Io?
I'm
Tonight
good, man.
it is a good night, fellas, because we have the legendary band in the building. This group is one of the pioneers in many different ways, and they have stuck around all these years, and they are back putting out music. Just dropped a single not too long ago, got new music underway. We're going to talk about that and much more. We are super, super excited to have these fellas in the building tonight. If you can, join me in giving a nice warm welcome to Stetsasonic. Real claps on the Boom Bap Chat. Real claps. So we have from Stetsasonic, we have MC Delight. MC Delight, how you doing, my man?
Peace, man. Peace, peace.
Peace, peace. We have Daddy O. How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm doing very well, man. Welcome. And we have Wise. Wise, how are you tonight? Oh, Wise,
You muted, my brother.
you're muted. You have to hit the unmute button or something to unmute yourself. You look good though. We can see
Yeah,
you and you look
looking
great.
good.
Yeah, looking really good.
Nice little photo there.
Exactly. Oh no, we're Daddy Yogo. As Daddy O gets back on and Wise gets his mic straightened away, I like to throw it over to Iomas Marad. One thing that we do, fellas, in the Boom Bap Chat is we only invite guests on up to this point. We've only invited guests on that we appreciate, and we like to show that appreciation and give y'all flowers. Why you're with us. So wanted to throw that over to Iomas to do that. So Iomas, you can take it
Yeah,
away.
just thinking about Stetsasonic, man, made me go back to when I was a shorty, looking up to my cousin who had like all the music, man. I remember going to his house and he was like, I got this new joint. I'm about to play you. And it was all that jazz, man. And I was just like blown away, man. We listened to
Mm,
that song about 100 times, man, before
Mhm.
I was just stuck, man, and just always got love for Stetsasonic. Just the integrity of the music, y'all being the first hip hop band
yeah,
in hip hop, the message that you was coming with, and just being a staple in hip hop. Like I really don't think y'all get the props that y'all deserve. So tonight we want to celebrate y'all on the Boom Bap Chat for you being a foundational pillar in hip hop and the music that you've released and the integrity and that the fact that you guys are still doing music is just a beautiful thing. So we want to give y'all roses right now where y'all
yeah,
can smell them, where y'all can hold them in y'all hand, and we just appreciate y'all for being here, man. Much
yeah,
respect and love, man, for real.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
yeah,
you.
No doubt,
Thank you.
no doubt.
yeah.
Thank you.
For sure,
Thank
for sure.
Yeah.
thank
So
you.
y'all put out On Fire in 1986. But in interviews I've heard and I've read that y'all formed as a band much earlier than that. I think 81 is what I read. So what was happening
81.
81? Okay. What was happening during that time frame from 81 to 86 before that first album came out?
What we was doing, at that time we was known. As a matter of fact, let me go not further than that, but oh, there's Bobby. Oh
Oh
shoot.
yeah, Bobby
Yeah.
Simmons. Shout out Bobby
But
Simmons.
back in that time, around '81, we were um, a traveling, DJ organization known as Mass Communications with my man, um, may the Creator bless the dead, or the ancestors bless the dead. My man, Michael Bouchon. And at that time, it was me, Daddy O, and another MC by the name of Crown Supreme. But we
Mm.
were just going throughout Brooklyn doing a lot of different shows and so forth and so on. We had not yet got into, other than MCing at those shows, into actually beginning to actually formulate the hip hop band at that time. So we had a lot of routines that we used to do while we do these parties and stuff like that all around Brooklyn.
Right.
So that's what we was doing at that
Okay.
particular time.
Yeah.
Um, as things began to progress for us, um, as we was doing a lot of shows in the neighborhood, our popularity started to really grow as
Mm.
MCs,
Yeah.
and then we had a change, and then that's when Wise came in, and he became part of the crew, and then we just started entering. As a matter of fact, we was already entering
That's
in.
when we blew up
Yeah, we blew up.
locally. We
Yeah,
blew
Mm.
up locally.
yeah. We started doing shows, and then we started doing contests. A lot of times we was always finishing in second. We couldn't understand why we always finished
Mm.
in second, but we plotted away, and
Yeah.
professionalism that all kicked in, and before you know it, we went on Mr. Magic show,
Mm.
um, out on BLS, when he went from on BLS. And we went and we did that show, and before long, that was it. After that,
Yeah.
we beat, like, maybe there were like 100 groups that for audition that tried out, that we battled during that time. It was happening in Coney Island in Brooklyn. Y'all know about Coney Island, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
With the amusement park and so forth,
Right.
big crowds and stuff like that. And we just kicked the door in from there and got a deal, by way of Sugar Hill.
Mm.
Sugar Hill. We were supposed to sign with Sugar Hill, you know.
Yeah, and I think I saw in an interview, I think it was with Daddy O, and he was saying how you all didn't take that deal because
Nah,
it
Nah.
wasn't a good deal.
nah, it wasn't. It
At
wasn't
at,
really a
at
good
the
deal.
at the time when we got the deal, technically it was just me, Daddy, on the light on that
Right,
Sugar Hill contract.
right,
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And when we turned Sugar Hill down afterwards, that's when we expanded the band.
right,
You know
Okay.
what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
right after, because Daddy on the Light, I was the next person to join them.
Right.
And then after Daddy on the, came Fruquan. After Fruquan came Prince Paul. And
Right.
then DVC came in. That's when we
right,
expanded. Once we expanded, then afterwards, like about maybe a year and a half down the line, we got to deal with Tommy Boy.
right.
Mm.
And then a tidbit sidebar. While we was with Magic and Fly Tie, and I gave him the title Fly Tie,
Oh,
you
dope.
know, um, um, we was doing multiple shows, right? Under We was part of the Juice Crew.
Juice
Then.
Crew, yeah.
That
Juice
was
Crew.
before
Ah.
Kane, before Biz.
Yeah,
Yeah.
before a lot of them.
Us,
Yeah,
it was us, Roxanne Shante,
Debbie
Mhm.
D,
Debbie D, Roxanne,
Fearless Four.
Fearless
Yeah,
Four, and
Fearless.
MC Sham.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Sham was there.
yeah,
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 MC
Sham.
Sham.
Well, he
And
could be
there
called
was
Jam
Sham
right
too.
now. No, let me
Right.
stop.
That was the original hub of the Juice Crew.
So going back to this Sugar Hill Records contract that y'all turned down, Daddy, I was saying, I think it was you. I heard in an interview saying that you turned it down because it wasn't a good deal. We know now, like looking back, a lot of artists got jacked up deals and they took them. Why did you all pass on that deal? What made you all realize that that was not a good deal?
Well, the Sugar Hill deal was like, I think it was like 2 points retail or something like that. It was
Garbage.
like really, it was
Garbage.
It was like a real, it was a weird, like a weird low.
Yeah.
Like everybody that heard the low was like, whoa, you know what I mean? And we didn't even have money for like an expensive lawyer, but like even the lawyer that we had was like, this is ridiculous.
Right.
Yeah.
So so I wanted to ask you all a question about Boom Bap, because this is the Boom Bap Chat. We do a lot of, stuff with that title, Boom Bap. I've heard, history of how the term hip hop, came to be. But I'm just curious, from your perspective, when did that term boom bap, like when do you first remember hearing that term, and what does that term mean to you all?
I mean, first time I heard it, Chris said it. I never heard it before that.
Right.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I didn't even hear it I think I heard it close to almost 1990.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ill part is though we all did it as kids.
Huh? How so?
Boom bap bap boom bap. We always did that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was the foundation.
9 years old going boom.
Facts.
Bap bap boom bap. Right.
Yeah.
Before rap.
Yeah.
Even.
That's dope. Delight, what would you say?
Crazy.
Would you say that is boom bap then? Just the boom in the bap, just the way the sounds, way the drums are structured?
Yeah, later on. So now with a producer's mind, I'm gonna say, yeah, it's a kick and a snare. You know what I mean? But,
yeah.
I mean, back then I didn't know what I was talking about.
Right.
That's
Speaking of back then,
too.
In production, you all introduced, the instrumentation. You did instrumentation and sampling, being a hip hop band, but you're also big on sampling. Can you take us through like the beginning of that? Like, how did you figure out to do that, and how did you practically do it? I mean, now it's easy. Just like there's 1,000 different programs that we can buy and just sample and loop and all that. But back then, it probably wasn't that easy. So how did y'all come up with that, and like what was the practicality of actually doing it?
What did we use then?
I'm talking about even before that. So let's go back to Delight saying he gave Ty the name Fly Ty. We in this Juice Crew, and of course Marley's part of that as well.
Right.
And one day Ty takes us to Marley's house in Queensbridge, and Marley's jumping up and down saying, "I can sample." You remember this, D? I can sample.
Mm-hmm.
And Ty's like, "What do you mean?" He said, "I can take the sound from the record and play it back." And it was a little guitar sampler that he did it with.
Wow.
So in my opinion, we was around when sampling started.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen nobody sample before Marley.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's
you know what I'm saying? And I remember that. But I mean, the thing with Stetsasonic, and I always give these two guys my fathers. DBC and Prince Paul are my fathers in production. You know what I mean? I never wanted to be no music producer. But DB used to live in Middletown, and when we used to practice, he used to come down and spend the night at my crib. When he used to go to sleep, I used to jump on his machines. And then Paul was just a dude that I used to see do stuff, and I just be amazed because he could do it with anything. Any machine, he just would do it. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like Paul was not a guy who was like, "Oh, I gotta have a Lindrum. Oh, I gotta have this." He didn't care. I said, "What do you need?" "I don't care." You know what I'm saying? Because he's gonna make what he's. You know what I'm saying? Like he got that kind of. He's gonna do what he's got in his head. So for us, it was like whatever they was using.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whatever Paul had, that's what we had. Until we got in the studio, then the studio might have had I think the first studio had SB12. We might have not used an MPC till way later on.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then we was triggering stuff from the S900 and stuff because these guys had crazy equipment. DBC and Prince Paul had a studio apiece. I'm talking about when we met them.
Wow. And he was super young at that point, wasn't he?
17.
Oh yeah, 17.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Well, before I throw it to Profound for a question about lyrics, I wanted to just introduce to the people out there. Bobby Simmons is in the room. What's up, Bobby Simmons? Welcome.
Hey, what up, y'all? I hear y'all.
Good.
What's good, Bobby?
What's up, Bobby, man?
I'm good. We all maintaining. How y'all brothers doing, man?
Doing good. Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate you. Yeah.
Hey,
So now,
did y'all talk about the new record yet?
not yet. No.
We getting there.
We getting there.
We getting there, brother. We getting there.
And before, I wanted to ask one question before I throw the Profound. Marcus on Facebook is checking us out right now, and he wanted to know, how did y'all get the name Stetsasonic?
Where Fly Ty get his name from? This is a question for y'all, our hosts. Where did Fly Ty from the Juice Crew get his name?
From MC Delight.
Where did Stetsasonic get their name?
From Delight.
MC Delight.
Okay.
Classes in session.
Classes in session.
So what?
Yes, sir.
So based on that, what was your thought process, Brother Delight, for coming up with, like, where was you at mentally? You know what I'm saying? To come up with that name, Stetsasonic.
We knew that we would have problems with with calling ourselves the Stetson Brothers, because that was what the name was originally from Daddy O's experience of being part of the Stetson Brothers, the original Stetson Brothers, out in Brooklyn. And I think some of them was from Long Island too. But bottom line is that we needed something kind of catchy. You know what I'm saying? And because we used to roll in our Stetson hats, because there used to be a store called Stetson. You had your Stetson shoes, your Stetson hats, and so forth and so on. That's how we used to roll. We used to have the lever and and the brims and whatever the case may be. So it was just a matter of taking the word Stetson, right? Stetson, and then adding sound to it, which is sonic. So Stetson is referring to style, right? And then the sonic is referring to sound. So you have style of sound, so that's what Stetsasonic is all about. And that's the label that I said, hey, yo, daddy, yo, I got a name, bang, and it stuck, So that's how the name came about.
And if you're listening in right now, you can check out Stetsasonic at stetsasonic.com. Make sure you go there, support them. They got all kinds of great gear and great stuff there. All right, Profound, I want to swing to you. Not only these dudes dope production-wise, making great, music, but also dope lyrically. So I want to throw to you for a more lyrical question.
Well, I thought about this most of the day. And Io gave all of the brothers their flowers. I want to partially give them to y'all as well, because we are students. That's why I said classes in session. Y'all got students. Y'all are in the room with MCs, as I like to tell everybody that come on the show. So we appreciate y'all in a different sense than just a regular listener. So my question about lyrics, really, I just wanted to ask the group, can y'all talk about how important y'all contribution to self-destruction was, and that contribution to hip hop, because I feel like that is missing today. And I just want, lyric wise, I just wanted to know, if y'all could just really talk about the effects of that and how important that was to y'all and to the culture, period.
Well, well, I'm the second rapper. Pop, pop, pop on the shot. Who's to blame? Raps the name. There was a situation, first of all, how I came up with those lyrics, in which Kumo D wanted to become part of the record. Kumo D. So we're trying to find a place for where he can fit in,
Mm.
And I forgot who I was talking to. I think I was talking to Chris and the producer. I said, well, he can go right after me. And I came up with my lyrics. I said, I'll say this, and then he can bounce right off of me. And so I wanted to be like short but straight and to the point because all the lyrics were going to be important at that time.
Mm.
And I just looking at trying to set the stage for the record, and so that's how I came up with the bottom line, that black on black crime was way before our time. That's how I came up with those lyrics.
Mm.
So those lyrics throughout the whole song was very, very important. Um, uh, I think Daddy O and Wise was next. Um, what do you say? What was your mind? Where was your mind at, Daddy O, at that time?
Well, a couple of things. One is, well, at the time that we did the lyric, Wise and I had decided we wanted to do something together. We just had to kind of figure out what it was going to be. And so, one of the things that, I mean, I'm not saying everybody's not, but I'm just saying that we are. Like, one of the things that we're influenced by is, our predecessors, right? Which is Fields 4, Furious 5, Funky 4 plus one more, et cetera, right? Fantastic 5, Cold Crush 4. You know what I mean? And so the ideology of the routine,
back and forth.
you know what I'm saying, came back. So that's what that is. It's like a routine. You know what I'm saying? Me and Wise like doing you know what I'm saying? Just doing a back and forth routine. You know what I mean? And just trying to, it was interesting because it was, first of all, it was the first time something of that magnitude was ever done with a whole bunch of us. You know what I mean? So who knew how anything was going to turn out with everybody on the record? That's one thing. And then the other thing was, Stetsasonic was a little bit more, a little, maybe a lot, but a little bit used to more doing lyrics, that kind of lyric. You know what I mean? Like, we are a group that goes back to performing in Central Park with a theme of rock against racism when we had no record, before we had any almost any aspirations of a deal. We was just a rap group. You know what I mean? And we just went and performed a song called the name of the thing was Rock Against Racism. And we said, oh, we're gonna write a song. And we wrote a whole song, Rock Against Racism. Like, we always understood, this is what Delight always taught us. If it would have went the way of, say, one of us individually, we might have went one way. Like, maybe one of us wanted to go all the way conscious, or one wanted to go all the way funny. Delight used to always teach us, we make music for the mind, the body, and the soul. So, D, this is where your Susies come in. This is where your Sallys come in. But you got to do the mind. That's your freedom of death. That's your self-destruction. That's your Africa. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to do your soul. They got to be able to boogie down to the talking all that jazzes and all of that. And sometimes you can bring them together. And sometimes they have to be standalone Susie records. You know what I'm saying? But the bottom line is, so we was a little more abreast of making that kind of, not to say that those guys didn't want to do it. It's just they wasn't, so that's what made it to me such a magnitude. To see people like Kumo D's experience with Delight is similar to my experience with Light, MC Light, except for LL Roharan.
Right.
Oh, word.
But it was the same concept of Delight saying, he can go after me. And it was like, LL was like, who's going after you? And he's like, she's like, Daddy-O. And he's like, you can't go before Daddy-O with that. And Light didn't have a bad rhyme. It was just all about statistics.
Right.
You know what I mean? And it just wasn't, you know what I mean? So there was a lot of, we own more real estate on that record than anybody. We come on 3 times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that and that kind of proves, like, we just, us, don't ask us to rhyme, because we're gonna rhyme. That's all I can say. We did the I Ain't Making It on the Lean on Me soundtrack. We did the Africa record as a standalone. Remember, Africa was a standalone record for years before it came on the third album, and that was a Norman Cook remix. You know, you talk to it, we gonna rhyme. Even, I mean, throwing it to Bobby, you know, we doing records, and Bobby like, oh man, we need to do a street record, and then we end up doing peace on the other side of the record. Like, don't ask us to rhyme, man. For real, man.
Some MCs.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, just like on the new album. On the new album, we haven't changed the bit because we got a joint called Message in Our Music. We not playing.
Yeah.
We not playing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Hip hop has always been about the message in the music, and we've always provided that to our audience. We love a lot of other MCs out there now. But the one thing we never forgot, message in our music.
Yeah, that's dope. That's one of the reasons we love y'all is for that message. Sir. Yeah. Wise, anything you wanted to add to that question from Profound? Oh, Wise, we can't hear you, buddy.
You muted again.
You muted, bro.
You muted.
I know he like, what is going on?
I know.
Muted, suited, and booted.
Still look good though.
Yeah.
Got the visuals down.
Yeah, he making a music video while we out here on a Zoom joint. That's because in the music video, you ain't gotta say nothing because the director gonna sync it up later.
These things got problems now. He frozen now, I think.
Yeah, he'll be all right in a minute. We can keep going. He'll get on.
We'll come back as soon as he's able. We'll come back to that for sure. I want to take a question that came to us from Mark McCauley, who's a big fan of y'all, and he asked, "What were your influences for your first album?"
Ooh, there's a lot. Yeah,
man, so many.
Yo, I know one thing. With songs like "Forever My Beat," "My Rhyme," one of the things that we tried to document with that first album is the love that we had for the music and the vision that we had for the music. That's what "Forever My Beat" was all about, and "My Rhyme" was all
That's
about.
The On Fire album, period.
Right. And the whole On Fire album. But we really tried to address the feeling that an MC is going to have about his rhyme through that song. We really get personal with the with "My Rhyme." You know what I'm saying? It was one of my favorite cuts on that album.
Yeah.
You know, believe it or not. You know. So
plus Stetsasonic was influenced by Stetsasonic. The one thing we wanted to do with that album was to one, showcase what the band was about and who the band was, and that's exactly what was Pin, a hip hop band. Everything on that first album literally was played live,
right?
Minus the scratching. This was before people started looping samples, or even if we looped sample, like everything on that album was played live, from the bass line, the Just a Step, the winning, all that, everything from the live drums,
Go Stetsa,
everything. So the one thing
and then Wise was behind a lot of other stuff, like fade exactly. Totally, but then Just a Step, like
Exactly. So the thing about that first album was really all about proving, because you got to remember, you at the very beginning pivot of hip hop, and everybody had to have an identity, and we had an identity. And what was our identity? Every record, the light said it straight from the letter. We're the hip hop band. We had to pin how people can identify us with. So Stetsasonic was really influenced by Stetsasonic. We went there looking at like what we're gonna do to be different from everybody else that was out at that time.
Yeah, that's dope. I love that. Stetsasonic was influenced by Stetsasonic, which reminds me, if y'all listening in, you can go to stetsasonic.com and get some really dope stuff. So make sure you do that. Before I throw to Io Mas to ask a more community-focused question, I did want to bring on Mark McCauley, who asked that question. He says, "Forever My Beat really reminds me of the new rap language by Treacherous 3. I love the back and forth flow. Thanks for asking. So thank you, Mark McCauley. Big fan of you guys. So appreciate that. Want to throw it over to Iomos. Iomos, what's up?
Yeah, just thinking about, you guys as a group, and then like Daddy-O said, you guys being featured on Self Destruction. How is it? Because one of the things that I think is lacking today, and please, I would like, push back if you don't agree, is the lack of community when it comes to like hip hop groups. Like back in the 90s, you saw a lot of community oriented, like even in the album liners, you would hear artists shouting out Stetsasonic, Juice Crew, like they were showing love, like showing that it was a community. So what do you think it's going to take for that spirit or that type of legacy to come back to hip hop today for young folks today?
Ooh.
The importance of community.
I think they get it. I think they get it, but then it's like it's max. It's like veiled to them. Right. So I think that they understand community. I mean, most young people, especially, thinking like hip hop's not just Northern anymore. Right. So now it's Midwestern and Southern and Southwestern. Right. So all of these people, we didn't, but all of these people have family reunions and like, you know what I mean? Like they know what community is. Cities may be different. Like I got tons of aunties that ain't really my auntie. Right down south, that's really your aunt. You know what I mean? So they know what it is. For us, I can just tell you why it was that way for us, because it's never. I don't know if anybody's ever said it, but this is the way I feel. People ask me about my band all the time, and oh man, it's over 30 years. How you make a second record? I said, because it's not like I was just in the studio with these guys. I feel like I was in a war with them. So it's the same feeling that soldiers have that fought together. It was not only the community thing came from, it was not only we were fighting every damn body. That damn Frankie Crocker, we was fighting everybody. It's true, man. It's true. So I need it, and I'm just saying this for my band. I don't know about other people. Maybe Kane got his own story. I needed the light. If you look on YouTube, you see one of my TED Talks. It's all about what the light told me. And D said, do it better, Kareem, because I hated everybody. So D used to go out and see Flash and them, go see this one. Yo, D, they was dope. They ain't better than us. They ain't better than us. And he used to always say, yo, instead of getting angry, just do it better, Kareem. And it took me years to understand what he meant, but it was all wartime type of stuff. You know what I mean? So the community came from being in the trenches together. It's tough on the young kids now because it's kind of money oriented, right?
Yeah.
So not really
money bag business.
Huh?
Money bag business. Money bag business.
Yeah. So it's very difficult. So you do see, and it's like you said. Well, so he said money bag. So let me say this. So you might see Young Moneybag and Yo Gotti together because they both from Memphis. But remember, it's the same feeling as seeing Mo D, KRS, Heavy D, and Stetsasonic because they was all from New York.
Right.
So because it's so widespread now, that sense of community is almost, and I go out on a limb here, it's almost got to be explained in a conscious lyric. Because if it's not explained in a conscious lyric, it's not going to make sense. So we probably need about 12 more YBN Cordays.
Yeah.
I don't want no more Kendricks. I don't want no more Kanye's, no more Drakes. I don't even need no more J. Cole's. I'll take some more JIDs. You know what I mean? But we probably need because the bottom line is that if you don't do it like the light said, mind, body, and soul, it's probably not going to come across. You see what I'm trying to say? So sometimes Kendrick seemed like he leaned a little too much somewhere. Drake feel like he leaned. Corday is the only one that you see Corday and then you see it go viral that Jada talked to Corday's girl, which is that tennis girl, and said he want to do a record with her.
Right.
And this is after Jada. This is the Jada after the verses.
Right.
Going viral about wanting to do a record with Corday. You know what I mean? It probably only can be expressed in that way. And I'll go out on another limb and say this. If the elders ain't involved, it probably won't happen.
Wow. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's a time people say, hey man, you know, why y'all making a record after all this time? You know, part of it's because we could still rhyme. And you can hear that on the new record and you're gonna hear that on the album. So we nice now. You know what I mean? So ain't, you know, we ain't lose nothing. We just gained a little bit, right, Wise? Well, Wise ain't here, but when y'all hear the new Wise, y'all gonna be bugging out. Because we not playing with it. Like, I'm not even gonna hold you, man. We not playing with it. This ain't no Tuba Beat, Joe. You don't stop. This ain't that. This is not that. I'm telling you, it's not. You know what I mean? But if the elders ain't involved, let me not say it could be impossible because any, you know, things could happen.
Yeah, for sure,
but
for sure.
It'll definitely be difficult. I think the elders have a place in hip hop, and I think that we got to take that place. And I mean, I know we made a little money, and cats is a little more comfortable than they used to be, you know, when they was younger. And you know, could be marriage, could be family, but we still have to be involved because it made us. Like it's kind of. I got a line. It's so funny. I wrote this rhyme once, and I said this was the end of my rhyme, and then I was staying with Joe Fatal is one of my best friends, so I was staying with Joe Fatal the week that Stetsasonic had those 2 shows. The 2 weeks we had those 2 shows, and Tragedy Gaddafi was staying over there with us, right? And he snatched the line from me and actually put it on one of his new joints. He said, "This is the only time I ever used another lyric from somebody else." And I said, if it's true that hip hop made billionaires, then the streets that made hip hop should be getting a share.
Right.
Yes. You know what I mean? And I stand by that. I mean, because man, we was in the trenches. You know, it's like Army guys. Army guys don't give up the Army after they get out the Army. Right. They, you know, especially the Marines. The Marines like be like, whoop-ah! You know, at the bar. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yo, can y'all hear me?
Wise is back. Man. What's going on, man?
Okay. There
What's going on, man? What's going on?
Yo, how y'all doing? How y'all doing?
Yo, Wise. Yo, Wise. Talk about the Carlito Brigante thing, man, for a minute.
Oh, yeah. That's my new alter ego. You know, my new MC name, stage name. You know, because Wise, you know, was a human mix machine and stuff. And on this album, I'm going all out lyrically. I mean,
I told y'all.
I'm going all out. I mean, you know, you will be shocked. You're gonna be shocked as to how good I got.
That's dope. That's dope. I can't wait to hear it. Is there can you give us details on like when it's coming and
ask Bobby everything.
Bobby is the holder of the music.
Yeah.
So I got a question before you move on. Like, so you said you got better. You was dope. You been dope. So how do you get better from being dope? Like you was already dope. So how you get better?
Because now I'm rapping in a few different languages too.
Okay.
Oh wow.
Okay.
You know, so yeah, and the thing about it is that Daddy on like for years been trying to get to do that for years. They've been trying to get me to do that, and you know, I didn't think it would work for me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But as you know, as I was developing, because I got lyrically, like I said, I write a lot better. I you know, Daddy O is the one that put me on to you know, hook up my own little studio and stuff, and you know, with that being said, I got a lot better at, you know, creating music and stuff. So quite naturally, creating lyrics, I got a lot better too. You know, and like I said, they've been trying to get me to do that for a hot minute, but at the time, I didn't think that it would work for me and stuff. And now, yeah, you know, now that I got better lyrically, and I speak, read, and write Spanish. So now that I added that element to my my alter ego.
His repertoire.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's dope. So, Bobby, are you the one that is going to be, scheduling that release?
Well, I mean, we all got a schedule date on it. It's definitely going to be 2022.
Okay.
The album will be out hitting by the summer of 2022. We got a second single already prepared, which is called "Here We Go Again."
Nice.
That hopefully will be releasing hopefully by the December or early first quarter coming in of 2022.
Okay.
So we're finishing up the album now. No, we got a lot of stuff on it that's going to be crazy. So we really coming this time.
Yeah.
Like we came before, we coming again. I'm the guy that's always like chanting. Did y'all hear the new single yet? Everybody purchased the new single. Now you give it up love.
Yeah.
Show the love.
Right. Yeah. Now y'all giving up. Yeah. No doubt.
Exactly.
Did you all produce it, or did you have
No.
other producers come in?
We got.
No, we have other producers
Not only
coming.
did we
Yeah,
not produce it, besides for Bobby and Paul, we might not even make. Bobby and Paul might make some records on this album, but like, what we doing a little bit is going back to the basics. The basics of Stetsasonic is pretty dope. Like the way we learned how to rehearse, the fact that we used to practice every day, like all of that stuff is real dope. And like the walk up was dope because we was never afraid of anything because we was a stage band first.
Right.
So, we were always battle tested and battle ready. Like, whatever, bring whatever you got. I don't care who you are. Let me explain this to you. One of the first contests we ever entered, rap contest, we split $1,000 with Busy B, Dougie Fresh, and Slick Rick. And we were brand new. Nobody knew who we were.
Yeah, nobody knew.
Nobody even knew who we were.
Wow.
So, I mean, that's who we were. Like, bring what you have. That's your business. This is our business. You know what I mean? And so I just feel like now, not only us, I beg and plead my peers to like do something. I love the fact that Chris and KRS is doing the verses. I want to hear some records. You know what I mean? But it's not like Chris don't make records. It's just that he's in such an anomaly position sometimes. And I see me and Chuck in that position sometimes too, where it's so not enough of us doing it that it's not like it doesn't get noticed. But where it gets noticed and how long is noticed, kind of where it lives, is different than kind of everything else. And if there was a floodgate of that stuff, then you almost got to create a new category in Apple Music for classic hip hop.
Yes.
Spotify as well, Billboard as well, because it's a flood of it.
Yeah.
But when it's just there, like for instance with Stetsasonic, we work really hard with our manager to figure out where will these things live.
Right.
Because Black radio has failed us. I can't say that enough.
Yeah.
Not about artists because we crazy. And you know what we'll do. We'll rhyme one way one day and not want to rhyme the next day. It's not about labels because labels, if you could buy something for $3 and sell it for $11, you probably would too.
Right.
So all the labels was ever about was their paper. Tell me that the labels was about the music. What label?
Yeah.
Maybe Motown.
Right.
Possibly Stax.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But about the music? You understand? But the Black radio, where it was the place, it's still technically the breeding place for hit records. And let me say this, for hit records in our community. Black radio is the breeding place for it. That's where they become hits.
Yeah, and I remember you talking about the what was the example you gave in an interview? Tony Braxton record.
Yeah, that new Tony Braxton record that came out 2 years ago, right before the pandemic, produced by Babyface, never got played.
Right.
Who does that?
That's
she's like I said, she's not one of our queens. Aretha's probably that, or Patty may be that, but she's one about princesses. But Babyface is one about kings.
Right.
So how do you not play a Tony Braxton produced a Babyface producing Tony Braxton record, and the record's not whack?
Right.
So how do you not play that record? You know what I mean? But it's like that's what happens, you know. And I guess I have to understand that they got to pay the bills or whatever. I guess I got to understand that. But it's a tough thing for us because it's even going to be tough for. Listen, it's tough for everybody because the way the format works nowadays, the way Bobby explained it to me, because he works, he does his show on iHeart every day. The way this situation works with this like kind of universal playlist, he said that's why you can land in Pittsburgh and be in Brooklyn and hear the same records,
right?
Because they all follow in the same playlist. That's a scary thing.
Yeah.
It's scary for everybody because anybody could get put on and off of that playlist.
Right.
What I mean?
One of the things I appreciate about you all and you, Daddy O, is that, I've heard you talk about this before, and you mentioned other artists. You mentioned it tonight, like, Kane and Karis One, and, their output of actual albums. You started putting out albums.
Right.
3, 4, 5 years ago, whatever it was.
2016.
Yeah, so relatively recent. You started putting out, albums, and put out a few since then. And I feel like that's the way, artists such as yourself, cut through the noise, just stepping up and claiming your space.
It's the way to relieve your stress.
Yeah, that too.
You know what I mean? Like I tell people, 70% of the reason I make independent records is to get my shit off, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I don't get to talk about that with nobody.
Right.
My family, I got to talk about family stuff.
Right.
Even on the block, I'm getting stuff from the block. The barbershop, I'm getting stuff from the barbershop. My friends I'm around, I'm getting stuff, but I can't talk to all my friends about all my things.
Yeah.
I got some hustlers from Cleveland I could talk to about things that I don't talk to my friends in, that I drink wine with in Houston.
Right.
You see what I'm trying to say? So,
yeah.
But the rap thing, I could say whatever I want.
Right.
I got a rap record that says you should meet my white friends. They'll put you straight. You know what I'm saying? Every time I see somebody say something about white people, I'll be like, you should meet my white friends. You know what I'm saying? And I'm from the hood. My roots run deep in the hood, and I still got OGs in the hood. Conception, my OG, Pee Wee Kirkland, my OG. But I learned how to. I got old. Like I said, getting older is dope. I got older, so I learned how to maneuver. You know what I mean? But I don't really have a sounding board outside of rapping.
Right.
It would be cute, but I don't. You know what I mean? So I use rap records, and then I got the beats to work with it and all that. I just be getting my shit off.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
saying?
Dope.
Yeah,
saying
no
what's
doubt.
on my mind. It's, you know what I'm saying? I guess it's the same way certain authors feel when they write these books, like Toni Morrison or one of them.
Yeah.
But I ain't no book writer like that.
Right.
I'm a rapper. You know what I mean?
I feel that way making beats.
Oh, sorry.
No, I was just gonna say I feel that way making beats. Like it's very therapeutic for me. Having a rough day, stressed out, whatever the anxiety, I just make a beat and I feel much better. Get lost in it. Yeah.
Slide some of that Stetsasonic way.
Hey, no doubt.
We will.
Oh yeah, we own that, Daddy-O.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah, for real. We on that heavy. I'm taking a course right now in a course called Black Contemporary Art and Critical Creative Praxis, right? So we've been talking about like Black futurisms and like how that name Stetsasonic, if that's not Black futurism, I don't know what is. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like y'all looked ahead into the future with a name like that, and your sound was so ahead of what everybody else.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So with you, Daddy-O, what you just said, it just struck a nerve in me. Like, you said you're not an author like Toni Morrison, but basically the albums that y'all are putting out, those are sonic. Those are like books sonically. You know what I'm saying? Because I learned.
Boom Bap.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I learned, like, going back to what you were saying about consciousness, like, I may have not have picked up a book But to hear KRS-One, to hear Stetsasonic, to hear MC Light, to hear Heavy D, I was learning. Y'all was increasing my literacy and helping me to read the world through what you guys was talking about. You know what I mean? And so I do see you all as authors, as the Toni Morrison. You know what I'm saying? Because those CDs, those albums, those are books. You know what I'm saying? Those are
I
sonic
appreciate
books,
that, brother.
in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And y'all help, like y'all are our teachers. You know what I mean? We grew up on y'all. You guys are our teachers, so we're following.
I think it should continue. You know, I think my quest at this point, especially with my guys, is to kind of continue that. You know what I mean? Because I think that I came up with this philosophically a few years ago, right? There's always two reasons you do a thing.
Yeah.
One is the real reason you're doing the thing. So if you're moving the pizza or if you whatever, it's the real reason you're doing the thing. The other one is called a business model. The business model reason is you showing somebody that it can be done. So as you move in the pizza, you also showing whoever's looking that the pizza can be moved.
Right.
You see what I'm trying to say? And so that's how I feel about us. You could call us classic, you could call us old school, you could call us whatever. But I came to a conclusion that they're not going to take me seriously unless I'm rhyming. I have no problem doing TED Talks. I have no problem doing public speaking, podcasts, all of that. But they're not going to take me serious if I'm not spitting fire. And I wanted to give my fans bragging rights that you get in a car, you throw in Now Y'all Giving Up Love. Your kids say, who is that?
Right.
You say it's somebody from my time. They come back and say, but daddy, it don't sound old. You come back and say, because they just put it out.
Right.
They say, when they put out their first record, little kid, you wasn't even born. You mean to tell me those people are older than you, daddy? Yes, they are. And they sound like that, daddy? Yes, they do. That's the plan.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's the plan.
Yep.
So,
there it is.
I'm doing that.
Right there. Andre Hudson tuned in. He hit it right on the head. Stetsasonic is on fire.
Yeah.
So,
you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know, man. It's the fulfillment. Like, I'm telling you what happens. We in the studio now, so now all those set thoughts come up. All the beginning thoughts, all that. It comes back up.
Yeah. It's all part of the story, of the history, and also laying down the platform for not only our peers, but also for those that will be coming or approaching that time. Because listen, hip hop has been around a long time, so a lot of guys are now older. Now you got the new generation, right? And they may be doing songs for their generation. They don't do any songs for that, that I want to, that I would say, oh, let me hear. I may buy their stuff or whatever the case may be, but they're not going to do any music for me personally. You know what I'm saying? So that's part of the void that we're going to fulfill. You know what I'm saying? To satisfy everybody across the board, all age groups. You know what I'm saying? And in categories, to let them know that, hey, we still here. You know what I'm saying? And we're going to be here for a while, and to also motivate our peers also to do the same. And once our peers become motivated, you create a new market. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
New market means new industry. New industry means growth, and so forth and so on. So
well, one of the, I know Iomas and Profound gave y'all flowers. One of the things that I love about you all is that I never see you talking down, demeaning towards younger MCs, younger artists. And when there's an issue, like I see you all just stepping in and being the solution to the problem that you see, and to me that's
because we're
lovely.
like a jelly bean. Yeah, we don't throw down, we just crush them like a jelly bean.
But I love that about y'all, man. You just, you know, you're very empowering in that way for other people, and
Well,
that's super dope.
here's the thing though. We had a lot of help and a lot of support coming up.
Mm,
I mean, the wars I'm talking about is like the wars of fighting the traditional industry and all of those folks.
yeah,
But in terms of people like Fly Tie, Mr. Magic, all the guys they were very supportive.
yeah,
You know what I mean? So
right,
there were people like I remember clearly winning the contest in Coney Island, getting off stage, seeing Melly Mel, and Mel saying, "Yeah, Daddy, yeah, it was good what you did, man.
yeah,
You did it just like I do, man. You get a crowd 50%, man. You take 50 for yourself. That was good." You know what I'm saying? I remember that. That was encouraging.
right.
So we had to go behind the whatever that thing was and bust Dougie's ass that night. But other than that, you know what I mean? But but yeah, but yeah, we had the encouragement. So I think a lot of what we do, I don't want to call it a force of habit. You know what I mean? Making
Yeah,
it sound bad, but a lot of what we do is probably habitual because folks did it for us.
right. Yeah,
You know what
that's
I'm saying?
dope.
Folks did it for us. It was a very common thing back then to be at a party and somebody like Gary Harris, God bless the dead, say, "Daddy, do you know John King?" Because I'm getting ready to go into John King maybe in a week or two. "Do you know John King?" I'm
Mm,
like, "No." "Well, you should know him." "Yo, John, this," you know what I mean? That was
right.
common. It was common for, executives to know the artist, for, cross label things happening. All of
Yeah,
that kind of stuff was kind of common because we
right.
was all in the same business, so to speak. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Trying to
yeah.
make this hip hop thing work and all of that kind of stuff.
You're
So
right.
I think
And it
that
kind of almost it kind of almost felt like that again now too today, even with the new stuff. Because the one thing I want to say real quick before we even get out with any of this is to give a big shout out, man, and love and respect to LL Cool J and
Mm,
his Rock the Boat
No
Radio,
oh
doubt.
yeah, yeah,
actually
yeah,
yeah,
called
absolutely.
Daddy, who actually called Daddy O and said, "Yo, man, see, this is what we talk about. You cats are
mm,
doing new music. I need that record. I need to play it over here." And it just goes to show you that um, it was happening back then when we thought we lost them. You come to find out we haven't. We got them back now. Cool DJ Red Alert in New York played our record when he did his show. The light called me. He was like, "Yo, Red is playing the record." So again, we're back to knowing that our peers and some new cats
yeah,
also are playing the record because they're new to us. So it seems like this is happening all over again. We just got to get it. We're in now. We just got to finish it.
yeah.
You
Mhm.
know.
Dope. That's dope. Super dope. Well, tonight I want to end talking about a battle, but before that, I do have one more question. Just in the era that I grew up in, and just how it happened, the native tongues were like super influential to me. And De La Soul being, the first group that I kind of came in contact with from that crew. Um, and I'm just curious to know. I know Prince Paul, Stetsasonic, and he did, De La Soul. But is there any other connections and ties that you all have with native tongues from that
Yeah, we are
era?
the native tongue. We are the native tongue.
There you go.
I mean, all of those guys respected and learned from us. If you notice, you see us on
Right.
the album of, you see us on one of those Tribe Called Quest albums.
Brothers.
Right. Yep.
I mean, it was because we kind of always been senior, even though we came in at a certain time. Stetsasonic and the presentation of Stetsasonic has always been senior class.
Mm,
Like you don't kind of remember Stetsasonic junior class.
mm,
It's always kind of been senior class because we a stage band first.
right.
So coming in, the fear level was not high for us at all.
Mm,
You know what I mean? We wasn't looking at cats like, "Oh my God, look at where we are. Look at," we were happy to be there. Just like we happy to be there now.
right.
But we wasn't looking at stuff like with fearful eyes. I mean, I even tell people the hip hop band thing is not rocket science. it's cats sitting down making records, having producers in the band and musicians in the band, and saying, "How we gonna duplicate this on stage?"
Mm.
And we said, "Oh, let's just take everything with us."
Mm.
So that one time, I'm telling you, we entered a contest. We took everything with us and ended up splitting the bounty with Dougie Fresh, Slick Rick, and Busy B by just
Wow.
taking everything with us. We ran on that stage with that white on and them boys on them instruments, and they started screaming and didn't even know who we were.
Yeah.
Man,
Mhm.
I bust. Well, you remember me? I bust through the crowd and
Yeah.
stuff like that because nobody knew us. And this happened at what was the place?
The Roxy.
Roxy's.
Yeah.
We bust through the crowd because they said, "Yo, who's out there that could take on blah blah blah, Dougie Fresh or whatever the case?" We say, "Yo, we can do it."
Yeah. We tore them up that night.
Yeah, we did. We did. I ain't gonna lie.
We went to work.
So you know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a different kind of feeling. And I mean Bobby could add on to this, but I'm being honest, and I say this often. The idea was to, and it still is, to continue the musical tradition that we come from. So we happen to rap, you know, but Aretha sings, you know, and Gil does poetry, you know, but it comes from a tradition, right?
Yeah.
And we just happen to be who we are. So that was always the plan. The plan was always to be the next Temptations or Four Tops or James Brown or whatever. That was the plan.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't so much looked at. We didn't. They did, meaning the people before us. I don't know if I want to say no fault of their own, but the people before us didn't look at us like that, but we looked at ourselves like that. You know, and it's proof in our activity. First groups, Fearless Four, Fantastic Five, Funky Four. You know what I'm saying? You know, that comes from the Four Tops, Temptations. You know, it comes from that. You know what I mean?
Right.
But we just look to extend what was in front of us. I mean, behind us. You know, in front of us too. But you know what I mean? Extend what we knew. This is what we come from. We come from this tradition. You know, we're gonna lay it down this way.
Yeah.
You know,
that's so interesting that you said that, because I was watching the interview with Q-Tip and he said the same thing. He was saying that we wasn't trying to like compete with our peers. We were trying to be the next Earth, Wind, and Fire, the next Stevie
I mean,
Wonder.
why not? Why not? I mean,
Like,
that's
I
what we
thought that
grew up
was so
looking
interesting.
at.
Yeah,
it's what we all grew up looking at. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's why I say sometimes I feel like it's hard for the young kids, because if you don't turn them on to like us or whoever,
Right.
and Jay-Z is old school to them, that's a tough place to be in, man.
Right.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah.
You know, because it means there's a lot of stuff that you ain't get.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of cats in the 90s that's nice,
Right.
but they came from something.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so if you never got a chance to see that thing that they came from, especially like in its pristine purity, you know, that's a tough place to be in unless you're a child prodigy.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Iomas Profound. Any other last questions you have for the crew before we have some
I don't
fun?
have a question. I got a thought, man. Like, I want everybody that watches our show to realize, man, it's been 40 years that this group has been together.
Yeah.
Like, that's not anything to be taken lightly, bro.
Nah.
Exactly.
At all. Like, it's what we talked about a few shows back about, like the jazz musicians that play into their 80s and 90s, and you know, you have some division between the younger and the older cats and all of that. But man, these brothers have been together since 1981. Like, I don't even know what else to say about that, man. Like, you just don't see that. You don't see that anymore, and it's important that everybody sees that.
Yeah.
You know, that's because we got into this for the art of the music, man. I mean, as kids, that's what drawn us to it. How are these guys doing this? How did James Brown change the format of soul music? How did we looked at it of what we grew up to and figuring out how did these guys do this. And then when we found ourselves um, not thrown in, but kind of walked into the whole hip hop thing, we was like, wow, so we could connect this with this because we already were doing it. The DJs were the DJs were the band. People got to remember, hip hop started with the DJs. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
DJs was our instrumentation. You know, because the DJ will always be that reel of real machine that we call back in the day, that where he can splice a beat at whatever per second to hold it so the guys can do a routine or the rap could do a routine. So we just had to figure out how we was going to expand this by watching and listening to all these other great artists. We lived in a neighborhood with BT Express and Brass Construction and Black Ivy. They were in Brownsville. They were living in Tilden.
Right there.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right there. So we were literally in the building with people who were recording records, and we wanted to figure out how can we expand that in what we're doing. Because remember, at the time that we began doing hip hop, a lot of the R&B bands and R&B singers didn't want to connect with us.
Right.
Because they just thought we were stealing their music. They thought that we were stealing their shine, and they thought they doing this ball diggy ball did bang to bang nonsense. And what is this stuff? You know what I'm saying? And taking Sheik's music, and it's not their music, and they rapping over it. So they didn't really have a relationship with us in the very beginning. So we had to find a home for ourselves. And that's why early at the show, you asked who influenced Stetsasonic. Even though we admire and were influenced by the musicality by these bands, but Stetsasonic, we influenced ourselves because we had to figure out how we was going to expand of what we were doing in rap and hip hop from listening to those guys.
Yeah.
And we had to take it upon ourselves to figure that out. So
I love that.
That's crazy how Daddy, he wasn't even in here, and he said the same exact thing that either Delight or Daddy-O said. Because there was Delight. Delight said that Stetsasonic influenced Stetsasonic, and he said the same exact thing, and he wasn't even in the room. That just shows you how connected they are. That's bugged
well,
out.
you know,
40 years.
Having the amount of people in the band that we had, and have, that was, you know, that had its own type of benefits that like not having that amount didn't. You know, I have to be just honest. And then active members, you know what I mean? And so what I mean by that is that, you know, we shared a bus with PE for years. So PE was a conglomerate as well, but a different type of conglomerate. Flavor's activity was one kind of activity. Norman's activity was another. The S1's activity another. Griff's another. Chuck's another. Which Chuck says he got all that from us, watching us. That's what he told me.
That's dope.
You know, because one of the first big shows we did, Chuck and Hank hired us to go to Long Island.
Wow.
You know, and Griff was security. Flavor was the class clown. You know, Keith was the DJ. No, I'm serious. Like, you know, so and like he said he saw what we did that night. Again, we brought everything with us.
Yeah.
And he saw what we did that night, and that's what gave him the idea to kind of break it up. You know, but the number of active members, you know, because you got to remember, Stetsasonic comes on stage. There are no inactive members. Everybody's doing something.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And so that is helped. It really helped because it's like, I'll give you another analogy. It's like playing on a team. And when you're on a team, everybody don't play the same. Even guards don't play the same position.
Right.
Still got a 1 and a 2 guard.
Right.
You know what I mean? And some people play the forwards long and short. You know what I mean? Like, you know,
you're building culture.
Exactly.
You're building the culture.
Exactly. Right. So, you know, we're there and you know, we know which role this one plays and this role, you know, and not, you know, and having fun with that. You know what I mean? Like that, like that's what I was saying about the, you know, the new single is produced by Kevin Dean. Like, we love it because, you know, part of that gives us the ability to just concentrate on what we concentrate on. You know, having, you know, members that do certain things allow other members the freedom. Like, one of the coolest things about being in Stetsasonic when we were, and we'll probably do this again when we go back on tour, but when we were on tour, we used to split up and do different interviews
Mm.
because we could.
Yeah, right. Yeah, divide and conquer.
So it's a
Yeah.
morning show over here and a morning show over there. Eric B and Rakim couldn't do both of those morning shows at the same time.
Right.
Because they both got to be at that one. So they try to find the most popular. We doing the popular one with them, but still doing that little underground joint over there because we
Right.
can send somebody else over there, you know?
That's dope.
So like I said, we had and have some benefits that other people don't have. And I mean, you know, I guess solo artists have benefits that they call benefits too. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I don't know. I mean, I don't, you know, but just being a band, that's fun. And it helps, you know. So that's what helps us to influence us is that, you know, we got the little element, you know, we got the knobs, you know.
Right. Yeah, no doubt.
Well, I kind of want to go back to what Daddy-O said about community being explained and through conscious lyrics. So the question I have is, do you think it's still space for conscious hip hop? And I'll give you an example. I don't want to say the artist's name. It's a pretty popular artist now. And basically they asked the artist, do you consider yourself conscious? And the artist was like, no, I don't want to. And there was a time when, and I could say their name, most.
Amigos? Some Amigos?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
It was well, I don't want to. I'll say it off when we get offline. Yeah, I don't want nobody label me a hater. You know what I'm saying?
I'm a hater.
Yeah. Hey, that's when you let Daddy-O say it.
Right.
On his new album.
You know what I'm saying? So basically, they asked this particular artist, do you consider yourself conscious? And the artist was like, no. You know what I mean? And I remember it was a time when Mos and Talib was trying to break away from that title as well. Like they was making jokes like, yeah, I'm awake when I rhyme. Like, yeah, I'm conscious. I'm always awake when I rhyme. So they was trying to like dodge that. So do you think it's still room for conscious hip hop today?
Well, I don't know, and the guys can chime in on this. I don't know where the terminology came from, technically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is what I remember from my coming up. From my grooming, people rhymed about kind of where they came from. So if they was that type of brother, they was going to rhyme about that type of stuff. If they wasn't that type of cat, then they was going to do the Pee Wee Herman dance.
Right.
You see what I'm trying to say? But it wasn't nobody being put under no pressure to make nothing.
We got love for you, Joeski.
Yeah, wasn't nobody trying to put no pressure on nobody to make nothing. It was what they was born of. You know, Lakim Shabazz was only going to say what Lakim Shabazz was going to say because that was Lakim Shabazz.
Yeah.
It's no different than the first popular Brand Nubian record. It's 120 in a bottle, I always call it. Best 5% of record ever. Fight.
Yeah.
All day.
Best 5% of record ever.
All day.
That record is incredible.
Yes, it was.
Incredible.
I still listen to that boy.
Exactly. So cats was just doing what they was doing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't know where the terminology conscious rap ever came from. Like I said, the light always taught us mind, body, and soul.
Yes.
And it wasn't a concept of D thinking of the music business. He wasn't thinking of that. He wasn't saying, oh, don't get boxed in. We got to get on the Grammys. It wasn't nothing like that. It was the expression of rhyme. Okay, D, we doing it now. You know, we going to box this thing up. We just going to rhyme about one thing? Or are we going to show? Because, you know, even when we came out, showing your versatility meant something.
Mm.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So we I think every good record has some show off quality.
Mm.
Here's my best example. Smells Like Teen Spirit killed everything before it that called itself alternative or whatever the hell it was called. Okay? We went from the long hairs, right? We had the long hairs on MTV for a minute. You know? And the alternative guys was trying to creep in. But here comes this boy with his band from Seattle, and things changed.
Mm.
You understand what I'm saying? Things totally changed. And so that can happen. You know what I mean? There's no laws against it, but at the same time, he's making them Nirvana records, and now Pearl Jam is starting to be popular, and now grunge is kind of holding. There's still some other records being played. There's still some other stuff happening.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yes, you probably could call it conscious rap if you grab this one and you grab this one and say, okay, Lakim is, Grand Nubian is. Maybe they're not, because Slow Down's not. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know. You know what I'm saying? You don't really know what it fit in. But D never taught us to box it in. So I guess we could hang with them cats. I mean, I put Lumumba Carson, God bless the dead, Professor X from the X Clan, in the business. I did that for his daddy, Sonny.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? But so I knew what Lumumba was gonna do from the beginning because of Sonny. You see what I'm trying to say? But I could be seen with Brother Jay, but I could also be seen with Slick Rick or Rob Bass.
Right.
I owe that to Delight. You know what I'm saying? Whether or not there's a place, no, I don't know if there's a place, but I'll tell you this. If we take that formula of rapping for the mind, body, and soul seriously, give me a YB and Corday, mind, body, and soul. Y'all gonna think I'm bugging, but follow me. Give me a Young Thug, mind, body, and soul. I don't need Future. Glock and Dolph got to do it together, but mind, body, and soul. And maybe one more. It won't be Blueface, but maybe one of them other boys from that side. You see what I'm trying to say? Because nobody's telling them nothing else but body.
Right.
That's all they rap right now. Body.
Sure.
Ain't no mind and ain't no soul. Now there's a little bit sometimes my grandmama came up on this and now I bought my mama a house and then it ends.
Right.
You see what I'm trying to say? So that I think has room. I don't know because the conscious thing, believe it or not, came from the Islamic influence of New York rappers. So that's what we ended up calling conscious music until other people came from wherever they came from, Kemet or wherever they come from. But you know what I mean? The ragheads with the incense, they here too. But you know, but that's where that kind of thing came from.
Right.
So I'm proud of being in this band because they could talk whatever they want to talk about conscious rappers. Them conscious records that we made, literally made an impact. You know, we made Africa. That was a standalone study guide in like 30 cities.
Wow.
And freedom of death and jumping in self-destruction. Like when we do it, it's like Bobby said. Bobby just mentioned message in our music because we're working on that record now. When we get in there, we in there. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna play with it. You know, because we care for people, man. We care for people. We care for people all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We care for people. So we didn't make any of those songs you know, for posing purposes.
Right.
You know, everything that you ever heard from us that was that in that vein that people would call conscious, we did it because that's really who we are.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, I don't know. Long answer to a short question.
And there's your answer, man. So that's why you should tell your audience on this platform that when we put our album out, get that album because it's a message about music.
No doubt. No doubt.
No doubt.
And I know one place they'll be able to get the album is Stetsasonic.com.
Sure.
So put that, save that site for sure.
We need you, man. We need you.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. Well, the last thing I want to do, fellas, I want to have some fun, get your predictions. You all know next Sunday, KRS-One and Big Daddy Kane are going to be battling it out. And just want to get y'all predictions. Who's going to hold it down? Who you think is going to come out triumphant? How you think it's going to go down? Let's start with Wise. Wise, do you have any thoughts on the battle coming up?
Wow. I honestly, I like them both a lot. I really do like them both. I don't want wow, it's a tough. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, Chris has that edge and stuff. You know what I'm saying? Kane is a very good entertainer.
Yeah.
You know, but Chris is no joke. I'll probably have to go with
Chris. Okay. All right. That's one in the room for Chris.
Well,
Go
yo,
ahead, Bobby.
I'm gonna tell y'all, and if he's watching this, he'll know we had this conversation sometimes back because he had him on one of my shows. Swiss Beast, I had a talk with Swiss Beast about it. So I'm gonna tell it to you how I told him. So this Big Daddy Kane and KRS Versus coming up. Versus is all about people's music catalog.
Right.
That's what this whole Versus thing about. Now, Jadakiss changed the narrative of it when they did their lock and did that thing. Now, if they would keep it in that vein, then we got ourselves.
Would have won.
Yeah.
But right now, we would keep it in that battle between Chris and Kane. But we know this Versus is going to be strictly about the catalog, and we all know Chris' catalog murders Kane's catalog. Point blank, it murders Kane's catalog. We know Kane got some good joints, some bangers. Kane got some joints, but Chris got joints.
Yeah.
So if this Versus is going to be about just drop the banger record, Chris wins by landslide.
Yeah.
Okay.
So don't make this verse complicated. It's not that complicated. It's not that complicated. They set this up a simple way. It's about I need 20 bangers from y'all.
Right.
20 bangers. 20 from Chris, 20 from Kane. Kane don't have 20 bangers. Don't. Simple as that. Now, if you get them to battle, like yo, just go on a break or whatever, we going then that's a boxing match I would like to watch.
Yeah, I would like to see. I definitely like to see that. Yeah.
That's not what we're gonna see. What you're gonna see, give me your best 20.
Yeah.
Simple as that.
Right. Yeah, it's good. I agree. Delight, what do you think? Are you on the same page?
No.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go on the other side. Here's why. Although Chris has a larger catalog, still Kane, with his ability to perform also in front of a live audience, because that was one of the keys in the verses dealing with
Locks and Dipset.
The Locks and Dipset. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at that and understand that, and I think everybody, hey, you can chime in on this point. I think Kane still had the bigger records. He had the bigger records, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So name 20 of Kane's big records.
No. I'm saying, no, that's not what I meant. What I'm saying is that when it comes down to the popularity of the record, right? I put Kane up there just like this with his bigger records. Like there may be 2 or 3 records that's gonna stand out, that's gonna sway that battle like this. It's going to be a close call, but I think when it comes down to the stage, and because Kane, he comes from the battle rap thing. That's what's his whole thing. And I think the way he will arrange his catalog is going to be like this. So I'm going to give the slight nod to Kane.
All right, we got 1 for Kane in the room. Daddy O, we got two for Chris, 1 for Kane. Where do you stand?
Let me do my 2 disclaimers first. Disclaimer number 1. I had a conversation with my man Charlie Mack today because he's actually the brainchild behind putting this thing together and nurturing it with Swiss and them and all of that, right? I hit Kane up for tickets. He told me I'm locked, but I'm a run it by Swiss and Charlie. I said, let me call Charlie myself. So he actually called me back. I texted him, he called me back. So that was good. I said to Charlie, it's only gonna be one winner, and Charlie said, "This is my first disclaimer, because I agree with him." I said, "There's only gonna be one winner." He said, "Yeah, the people." You know, and I mess with that. You know what I'm saying? I mess with that. He said, "You know, the people need this." I said, "Man, it's real good for our era." I'm glad both of those guys are from the same era, so it doesn't make it, because we've been talking that Stetsasonic roots thing, but it always comes up, different eras. You know what I mean? So it's just like it don't match. Some people wouldn't understand the magnitude of my fan don't understand the magnitude of none of them damn roots records. Right. They might know that Saza Erica Bazoo song, but that's it. Don't nobody know the rest of them records. Same thing with their fans knowing Ghost Stetzer. Their fans don't know no Ghost Stetzer. Right. See what I'm trying to say? So neither one understands. So I like them both being the same thing. So I think the people win. First disclaimer. Second disclaimer is I hope the light is right about it being closer than expected. I hope he's right. But I will say this. 2016, I picked up my mic again. First album I put out, before I named this album, I thought about all of my peers and who could rhyme with me in 2016. Who can hang out with me then? And the name of that album is Everybody But KRS. Because I could beat everybody but Chris. Right now.
Come on, Daddy.
I can beat him. I can't beat Chris. I don't think he can be beat. I don't. I really don't. Not that kind of way. That kind of way. It's too much on the court thinking. Yeah. It's too much. I need to adjust right now. Ability. Right. I've toured with Kane. I've done shows with Chris. Chris is spontaneous. Kane is programmed every time.
Say that again.
You go see Kane. You see Kane, you'll see the same show every night. Yeah. You never see the same show twice with Chris. Never.
That's so true.
That is true.
And that ability right there is why I say I can whoop my peers, because I'm a better lyricist now and all of that. Right. But Chris, I can't, because he gets underneath the groove. He is the rapper with the black notes. He plays those blue note keys. And that anybody who play piano will tell you, yeah, you could do that black and white all day and those regular and those majors and those minors. But am I wrong, Bobby? Them ones that got that blue note, even them singers like Shaka and them, that could get in between that shit, that stunt melts, because you don't want to be a vocalist and stand next to Shaka Khan. Because you're all straight notes, C's, B's, D's, and she in between. And that's Chris as a rapper.
That's a good analogy.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah. So Dominique.
So again, if he changed if the narratives get changed, like the way Jada did, then we got a nice fight to watch. Till then, he just gonna drop him. He gonna drop him.
Yeah,
I know it's just gonna be crazy. It's gonna be so crazy.
I hope I'm in the building. Hey, y'all pray for a brother to get his tickets, please.
If you go with the analogy that Daddy-O just presented, you say Kane program, right? And I just think that Kane had enough time to get a program.
He could be right though. I know that Kane. You know what? You know why the light is saying what he's saying? The light is saying because we know that Big Daddy Kane. We know that Big Daddy Kane that put some shit together that'll fuck you up.
Yeah.
So that's what D is talking about.
But that's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that complicate this verse. I'm talking about the concept of verses. This is what got Fat Joe ass in trouble with Ja Rule. What got Fat Joe in trouble with Ja Rule is the fact that Fat Joe thought if I drop my album cuts that the streets is gonna love, I'm gonna win this. Ja stayed with his 18 top hit.
Yeah,
he stayed with it. He stayed with it. He knew what this verses was about. He knew that he wasn't going to try to change the narrative of it. He said, I'm just going to stay with my 18 hits. 18.
But it's 18 hits and two big pretty thighs.
Exactly. There you go. So all I'm saying is that once again, and like Daddy O said, we did throw away Kane. We know what Kane could do. But what I'm saying is let's change the narrative of this whole verse is what it's about. To start a fight. When I mean a fight, I'm talking about a battle, a real battle. He has to change it to get that fight going with Chris. Other than that, it's going to be about their record.
Well, y'all pray for me to get my tickets, man.
We will pray for you, man. We are praying, sending you energy your way.
Daddy know his tickets.
No doubt. No doubt.
Somebody had a question, right, Dominique?
You may have to give me Charlie's next number, man.
Okay, I will. I'll send it to you.
No, Dominique was just saying, he was responding to you, Daddy O, saying KRS-One is #1 best MC alive. Still #1 best MC alive.
It's hard, man.
He was agreeing
this
with
guy
you.
hard to beat, man. It's just, I tried angles. I thought of stuff.
Drake could beat Chris.
Here you go, boy.
You gotta be joking.
Yo, so shout out to our Boom Bap Chat brother Joe Thomas. He heard something and he wanted to shout this out. He wanted to shout this out. So KRS-One is the Shaka Khan of hip hop. We heard it here first, folks. So yeah, shout out to Joe.
I don't know if Chris would like hearing saying that. I mean, when I first made the album, everybody with KRS, right? It was crazy, right? Because we had a show. Stetsasonic had a show in Philadelphia with Lady B. It was what's the name of that show she do, Bobby?
Lady B's Basement Party.
Lady B's Bateman's Party. So we had a show with them, right? And I had just put out the first album. I had a couple of copies of the CD and all that. I went in Mo D's dressing room, because you know Kaz is his DJ, and LA Sunshine and Mike C of the Fearless Four are Mo D's dancers now, right? So they all in there, and I went in there. I said, man, I toss all y'all right now. I said, I love y'all. Y'all my peers and all that. I mean, y'all my OGs and all that. I'll rip y'all apart right now. You know what I'm saying? And I told him I made the record, and Mo D was like, I'm gonna make Chris believe you against him. It ain't work though. Because me and him did a show not too long after that together.
That's dope. Well, listen, fellas, we really appreciate you all being here. If you're tuning in and you haven't yet, please go to Stetsasonic.com.
Yes, sir.
Save that. They have new music coming out. We heard it here. Another single dropping maybe December or January. A new album should be hitting shelves, hitting streaming services, hitting Bandcamp, all that, hitting their website sometime next year. So make sure you tune in. We'll go ahead, Bobby. Go ahead.
We got one already on stream right now. So everybody, please download. It's called Now Y'all Giving Up Love. Available now on Apple, Deezer, all your digital platforms. So show some love, because we out here.
And before you sign off, man, people liking the record, man. It's not like it's not like we saying that and people are digging this song. The stations are playing this song. Yeah. So people like this record, and I played it for a couple of young people, man. The young boy liked it, man.
Yeah. And I really like the video too.
Oh, thank you.
The videos, it's a fun video, man. It's feel good. It's a dope video.
Thank you, sir.
So no doubt. Well, something we do on the Boom Bap Chat, we do shout outs. It's a hip hop show, so we do shout outs. So,
right.
We'll give some shout outs as the co-host and then we'll go around one by one and give y'all the last word. So Profound, who would you like to give shout outs to tonight, man?
You know how I do, man. I'm gonna shout out my 6 children: Amir, Zakir, Rosalina, Daima, Ariel, and Elijah. And shout out to my Boom Bap brothers and Stetsasonic, of course, man, for y'all coming through and still rocking after 40 years, man. I need 40 more from y'all, please. Oh, yeah. And ain't no way in the world Kane coming close to KRS. I'm shouting that out. I love Kane too, but he can't do it. It's not happening. I don't care what 20 records he put up. It ain't happening.
Yo, man. It sounds like you're hating right now.
Yo, thanks, Profound. Iomas, who you want to shout out tonight?
Man, shout out Chicago, shout out the Detroit, shout out my family in Toronto where I'm at right now. Shout out my Boom Bap Chat brothers. Man, shout out to Stetsasonic for coming through. MC Delight, Wise, Bobby Simmons, you know what I'm saying? Daddy O, and Prince Paul, wherever he at, you know what I'm saying? Enough respect.
Yes,
I got
sir.
my teachers in the room, man. You know what I'm saying? So man, and I agree with Pro, man. I'm a Big Daddy Kane fan, but nah, man. I don't see Big Daddy Kane walking away with that, man. It's KRS-One, man. Knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone, bro. I gotta go with Chris, bro.
Right on. Thank you, Io Moss. Definitely want to shout you out. Shout out Profound, Big Stowe, Bo Brown, Joe November, the Boom Bap Chat team, everybody's hip hop label team. Appreciate you all. Joe November is heading into his second round in this beat battle put on by Noir Grime on Twitch this Saturday at 4 p.m. So you can check him out. Please, we're rooting for you, Joe November. You got this. Want to shout out Amir, who's going to be on next Thursday night. He put out a really dope project with Pete Rock. So we're going to be talking to him about that and much more. And obviously, shout out to you all, MC Delight, Daddy Yo, Wise, Bobby Simmons, of course, Prince Paul. Just really appreciate it. I want to echo what Profound said. 40 years is very, very incredible. It's inspiring, and we would love another 40. And, you know, just keep going, doing your thing.
That's the plan.
Yeah, so we appreciate you, and I'll throw it over to MC Delight for your shout-outs.
Oh, yeah. Let me holler at my kids, Marvin Jr. and Ilham, my grands, you know, Joshua, you know, and let me give a shout out to also, wow, so many ladies, Saida, Yvonne, my lady Bia Bushango, and all my other ladies. You know who you are, who you are. Shout out to my brother Snake Man, to my man Khalid Reeves and the Khalid Reeves Foundation. Let me give a shout out to that, you know, because they give him big support. I don't know if y'all know Khalid Reeves used to play at Arizona and then for the Miami Heat and stuff like that. You know, the kid I watched growing up, you know, as well as Lamar Odom and stuff like that. Kenny Smith, that is. These are all people that I know. Who else? To my Sabine family, you know what I'm saying, or Nuwapi family and stuff like that. To them, to all of my people in Queens, South Side of Queens, y'all know who y'all are, because I can't get to all the names and stuff like that. And also to all my Brooklyn people, you know, because y'all know I'm a BQ baby, Brooklyn Queens baby. You know, I gotta let y'all know that. And to my brother Thurston, and who else? That's it. And
Yeah.
I think that's it. I think I got everybody. And if I missed somebody, hey, you know.
Blame it on my head, not my heart.
Yeah.
Only human. Right. Thank you, MC Delight. Thank you for being here. Yeah. Let's throw it over to Bobby Simmons. Who you want to shout out tonight?
Real quick, man, I just want to give a shout out to my Stetsasonic boys, MC Delight, Grand Wizard DJ Prince Paul, Daddy O, Chief Daddy O, my man Wise, Human Mix Machine Wise. Appreciate these guys, man. We went back in, we did it, and it's happening. I want to say thank you to you brothers, man, for having us on the show, supporting the record now. Y'all giving up love is out there right now. And appreciate everybody, man. Rock the Bells Radio, Lady B, Red Alert, everybody that's just been showing us love and support. We appreciate y'all very much. And also, big shout out to Earl of Pearl Monroe. He just opened up a charter school. You're going to open up a charter school when you owe me $12,000, man. I want my money. I want my money, Earl of Pearl.
He paid me.
He didn't pay me, D. I want my 12 G's. You open up a charter school Earl of Pearl and Raw want my money. So I'm shouting you out.
Well, we're gonna pray Daddy O gets his tickets and you get your money. We'll pray
Oh
for that.
yeah.
Exactly.
Right on. Thank you for being here, Bobby Simmons.
Thank you, man.
Wise, who you want to shout out tonight?
I'm gonna make it very short and sweet. I just want to give a shout out to my family, my friends, definitely my guys and whatnot. I'm glad to be back with you guys, working with y'all again, recording. You know what I'm saying, and ready to do this again, man. But you know, do it a whole lot better.
Yeah. Right on. Right on. Thank you, Wise. Thanks for being here, man. Really appreciate you. And Daddy O, we'll throw it to you, and you can take us on out of here.
To the Ramo Raider MC Delight, Toledo Brigante, Stet Drummer Bobby Simmons, Grand Wizard DJ French Paul, uh, to our manager Courtney Benson, to my assistant who ends up assisting Stetsasonic, Jennifer, um, and you guys, man. You know, I say this all the time. You know, I hate to say it, but I have to say it. You know, Black radio failed us, and without platforms like you guys, you know, how do we get to promote a new single? How do we get to, you know what I'm saying? How do we get to do anything? So I don't want you guys to take anything you do lightly. It's a lot heavier than you think. You know what I mean? You know, because you don't know who's tuning in. You know, I shout y'all out because it's the first time I ever did a interview on Twitch. You know what I mean?
There you go.
Most people are not smart enough to even connect Twitch. That's
Right,
just,
right.
they just don't get it. But anyway, we had this whole big conversation about how much bigger D Nice would have been if he would have used Twitch. But that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, no, but shout out you guys, man, for really having us, man.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt.
You know, I just, you know, every time this happens, man, you know, it's good. I haven't been able to do interviews with my brothers in a long time. You know what I mean? And it's very welcoming feeling for me to not be the only one talking.
Right on. Right on. Well, on that note, we say peace, peace,
Hey.
peace, peace.
Peace.
Peace.